got to get started, and I think we're going to start off with a hot topic to introduce our guest host. Hello.
Ghost with the most?
We were gamers. Ghost with the most. Ecto's here. Hey, Ken. How's it going?
It's going well. How about yourself, gentlemen?
Good. Michael's here.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
And, we haven't had you on in quite a while.
I had a single Pop-Tart today that I had saved from the previous day, so it felt apropos.
Oh my God.
My heart grew 3 sizes this day, Ken.
Wow. What a throwback. I'm going to have to make a select episode at some point that would just be the whole thing.
I mean, that's the thing. Is like it's you have to have someone who knows the lore of the podcast. They've got to at least have some knowledge of.
Yeah, no, we can't just throw anybody in here. And I'm sure you've been chomping at the bit to correct us on all the Marvel stuff that we've been getting wrong.
No, I have to turn my brain off.
I just do an erotic correction show.
He's like, I've been keeping notes.
Without JJ here to just verbally eviscerate, it wouldn't feel right.
Very good. Well, at some point in this podcast, I think you're gonna have to catch us up on some stuff. But first, we got to lead in with the hot topic. Hit him, Michael.
Yeah, Ken, how do you feel about the inclusion of peanut butter as an ingredient in your chili?
As someone who's never had it, to my knowledge, I should clarify, it sounds off base, but considering like if you've had like peanut satay and like other things that have peanut butter in them, or like you can add peanut butter to like your noodles and ramen if you're jamming with it. So I'm not thrown off by it, but it's also definitely like it wouldn't be the first thing I'd think of. But also,
you've done peanut butter ramen?
Yeah. So
is it good?
Not specifically like ramen, like when you're thinking like a soup-based ramen, more ramen noodles like what's it called? I'm
Oh, you're making like a cold soba with peanut butter?
Not cold soba, but like a migro. It's more like when you see the noodles that are not a soup base, but they're just with more of a sauce, but it's still the same similar freeze-dried ramen style noodles with a sauce on them.
Okay, like mazamen.
Yes, I will say
more of a dry ramen style with a sauce.
Yeah, and so like I've done that, and so it's like so I can see a world where that works, and like when you dip chicken satay in like a peanut sauce, like it's there, so I'm like I can get it with that savory kind of feel and taste. So, but I haven't had it in chili, which my brain does still bristle at. But I'm like also, you know what? Hey, whatever. Like I'll try it. I'm not saying that I'll like it, but I'll try it.
I think chili, like we were talking about, is so about certain things to certain people that it kind of is open to interpretation, right? Like some people are like absolutely never tomatoes, and other people are like tomatoes all the time, every time, right? So
yeah, it's like pizza. It's like where people are like, oh no, it's all about the Detroit style where you put the sauce on top of the cheese, and like some people that's madness. Like a New Yorker would slap you, and
yeah, well.
Like
we have our own show lore on that one with pineapples, right? Because JJ and I are diametrically opposed forever on this issue.
Yes. Yeah. So it comes down to taste and region. Like isn't there like a spaghetti in chili?
Yeah,
Skyline chili in Cincinnati. Yeah.
So it's like there's different strokes for different folks, you know.
Absolutely. All right.
I think what made it stand out for us was just the fact that we went from 0 chilies with peanut butter to 25% of the chilies with peanut butter from last year to this year.
I'm amazed at having a public event with so much accessible peanut butter and not being worried about somebody dying.
Oh, I hadn't even considered that, but yeah.
I completely spaced the Tustin chili cook-off happened, and that like that's because it's usually the same weekend as my birthday, so I'm like usually like in my brain I'm like, oh, that's I've been once or twice. I enjoyed it, but I went too late, so it's like most of the chili was done, and I don't drink, so like the beer aspect of it definitely lost for me. So
yeah, you got to go early because not everybody plans well for the size crowd.
Yeah.
Which again blows my mind. It's the same thing as the guy that burned his chili. It's like, how do you do that? It's the whole thing. Don't do that.
Yeah, well, you're
This is
hitting up the beer tent too early as a competitor.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. I know that this is gonna make you sad a little bit, Ken, but I think JJ might be the closest one to caught up, and I know he isn't. So without a huge story situation, I did notice how far behind I think this section of the podcast is getting in the Marvel universe. Ironheart came out like today or something, and
Did it?
that's
Did
it,
Ironheart drop today? I saw we had trailers for it, but I didn't know we were
well, I
already at
turned on
release.
Andor earlier, and there was a big old Ironheart banner. So I
Oh,
Well, you've
there's
assume
got a
the
that
week.
means
special look.
You've got a week, Andy.
Yeah,
okay.
it's a
Well, I
special
don't
look.
have a
They
week
didn't.
because I'm behind, so I won't be
Well,
looking at
sure.
it.
There is a week between now and when, as of the recording date, there is a week before Ironheart.
Yeah, and
Yes.
Thunderbolts we missed, and I know I missed the most recent What If, and I'm sure there's another show or two in there. Is there how do you as a person that is caught up feel about Marvel's current progression?
Well, I think if you wanted to, you could check out Tangential Giants, the podcast that we covered mostly everything. We
Mhm.
covered
Which episode?
I mean, there's a bunch of different episodes because we just released the Captain America Brave New World
Yep, that just happened.
episode
Oh,
with Mayday Trip, and I think that might be a
Oh, cool.
two-parter. But yeah, I
Mayday's
watched that.
where is Mayday still in the South out there?
They're
Oh,
down there, and we enjoyed it, but had a fair amount of criticism, a fair amount of nits to pick with Captain America: Brave New World. But if you listen to the show, you'll hear like a lot of it is kind of the production knowledge that we have and know, like, oh, we know how much changed from here to there.
mhm.
And then really enjoyed Thunderbolts more, like but it's also maybe came to the table with lower expectations and really enjoyed it.
I think
Um,
that's a good differentiation here, which is Tangential Giants should be everybody's listen if they want to hear more direct commentary on each thing.
yeah.
I'm really like more lost in the sauce on how I feel about the amount of behind you can get in just like a 1 or 2 months.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's at least 3 months, I think, between Brave New World and um, Thunderbolts. But then there is also the TV shows, and like in between there, we had, I think at one point, no, we had Daredevil. Maybe just after Daredevil Born Again was just after Brave New World,
that sounds
Maybe
right.
and
that's
Yeah.
what. Yeah,
yeah. I know, but we're also not even talking about the Spider-Man animated series, which I think was a lot of fun. But that's like a one-off, similar to What If, where it's like it's not like mainline continuity. So do you need to watch it? No. Can you watch it? Sure. Um. Yeah. I mean, it's. I'm enjoying the MCU still. I don't have the same kind of like, oh, everything's gone to crap ever since Endgame, because I understand that you're gonna have ebbs and flows, and like Endgame was a culmination of a decade plus of storytelling. Pardon me.
yeah. Well, this
And
also, I mean, is a new building of storytelling, but people don't like to see things change, which is why comic book characters never die, right?
yeah, I mean, then that's probably part of the problem too, is that we are still we're doing the more legacy approach to storytelling, where you have someone else take over a mantle, more DC style, like, oh, this person's the new Flash, this person's the new Green Lantern. When we have like Iron Man to Iron Heart, and people aren't exactly accepting of that, and so we're gonna have issues of like, oh, Ironheart's no, Iron Man's like, yeah, but no one else is Iron Man, so that's why we have War Machine. That's why we have other characters who can propel a story. But
Well, and actors don't live forever, or at least maybe shouldn't. I don't know. With
oh, as far as AI, no, we should
No,
unless
please no.
yeah, unless our states are getting enough money, which is doubtful, then no. Like that's
yeah.
the only thing. Like I still like Siegel and Schuster for uh Superman. They should still get money, but this is another rights and trademark and all that's a whole nother deeper discussion too.
Yeah.
Um,
And like actors want to do different projects, right?
Yeah, and it's like
you don't want to
Well,
get
I think
pigeonholed
so.
into the same role. Like even the biggest roles, right? James Bond comes to mind, Harry Potter comes to mind, right? Like the actors
Man,
branch out
James
and things
Bond.
stories end.
I mean, some do, some just like stay in that lane. Like Lou Ferrigno's still out at Comic Cons, just like, hey, I'm big and green. Give me some money.
Sure. Yeah, that's true. There are people who get comfortable in the role, and that is all the space that they want to take up.
Yeah,
I
but
do
that's
get
fair.
a pretty good laugh out of the what is Chris Evans doing list of movies that he's trying out now that he's not Captain America, you know?
Yeah, I mean, when you have no, like, you don't necessarily have to worry about your next paycheck. You're just like, yeah, sure, I'll do an Apple movie with Ana de Armas. Why not? And it
Yeah,
was fine.
or
It was
like
fun.
also don't have to worry about like Disney coming back and being like, "Well, that wasn't very family friendly of you."
Yeah, you definitely have those that the restraining bolt removed and be like, oh yeah, you just
Oh,
do whatever
good
you want.
good reference there
Yeah,
cuz
Very
I
nice.
think the Star Wars universe was like what I was going to contrast it with, which was a little bit more reserved in their release pace after, the last couple, I wouldn't call them failures, but definitely not as popular. I'm thinking of like Acolyte and all these other things that they kind of seem to have slowed down the theatrical, or I don't know, theatrical is the wrong word, but cinematic releases.
yeah. I think that they they're. I mean, I think that the Lucasfilm entity is a different beast, and as well it should be from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But they also are like, they definitely pulled back from a lot of their film stuff because like we're not getting Rogue Squadron, but we got the Skeleton Crew, which was a fun kind of. I mean, are we talking spoilers? Like it's Goonies meets
Yeah, you
Star
can.
Wars.
Yeah, I think it's
And
fine.
I think
Michael,
we
have
all
you?
knew that much about it. I have still not seen it. It is on my list still.
Man, I gotta say, people should expect things to look like what they look like and be what they look like. And Skeleton Crew is one of those exact examples to me of you knew what this was and it's wonderful for what it tries to be. Everyone said, "Oh, it looks like Goonies, Star Wars Goonies, Star Wars Goonies." And then they were surprised that it was Star Wars Goonies. And they're like, "But it's not adult enough." And it's like, it's literally about children. They told you it was about children. It's a great one of those.
yeah,
Yeah.
What's your problem? Like, I don't.
Yeah. The only problem here is you trying to make it into something that it never pretended to be.
Yeah, it doesn't have Shia LaBeouf riding vines through the jungle, man. It's got exactly what they said it was going to have. It operates exactly as Star Wars should, and it's a
technically still
thing about
Lucasfilm, by the
kids.
way. So
I know. Don't.
are we
That's
going to talk about what was the fifth one that may or may not have existed, depending on your opinion?
wait. It doesn't exist.
I just, some people don't like to acknowledge Crystal Skull or Dial of Destiny. I couldn't remember
What's
the
wrong
name.
with Dial of Destiny?
I don't know. I haven't seen it, but I'm just saying, like, there's people out there who are like, oh, the only Indiana Jones that exist are the first three movies, and I'm like, well, what about the Young Adventures of Indiana Jones or the Adventures of Young
Great
Indiana
stuff.
Jones? Yeah.
Young Indiana Jones is awesome. Dial of Destiny was fine by me. I had no problem. I think some of it was really silly, and there's a scene in there where a character offs another character, and it seems like it would be really traumatic, and then it's not. That one was like handled weird, but I think Crystal Skull gets justifiable hate because it's kind of a little bit beyond the pale. I know that the people's faces get melted by the Ark of the Covenant in another movie.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know,
God.
right? The ending actually is what most people get bothered by with Crystal Skull, and it doesn't bother me one bit. It's literally, there's like a middle section of the movie where I think there was a list they found in George Lucas's offices of like funny interactions with animals that he couldn't fit into all the other Indiana Jones movies, and they just stuck them all in the middle of
I mean,
that one.
that's a lot of what I mean, he's constantly like, oh, I never got to do that in this one, so I wanted to try and bring it back here.
I really think that's what the middle, and that's the part that I have the most problem with of Crystal Skull, is exactly that, of kind of that Star Wars had that issue too, a little bit, where it was like, I never got to this idea, so I'm going to shoehorn it in because this is probably the last time I'm doing this.
Picking up all those pieces from the cutting room floor.
Yeah, kind of. That's what Crystal Skull. And then Dial of Destiny didn't have to do that because they got all the bad ideas out of the way.
Yeah, I still need to watch it. It's one of those things where it's like it's on my list, but the list is ever growing, and other things can take priority. So, yeah, like
I think again, it's another one of those that gets hate for the ending because it's really out there. But again, they open the Ark of the Covenant and ghosts eat the Nazis' faces.
And see, I've always been staunchly anti-Nazi, so that should be. I'm on board.
Well, I have really good news for you about what happens to them during Dial of Destiny.
Well,
they really give it to them in that movie.
I would hope that it'd be set in the modern day times, and we'd have other repercussions. But maybe that's a different podcast.
I think it's probably beyond our purview currently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think Star Wars might have a pace that is more able to be followed by me currently. I don't know. This Andor show is pretty dang good, I gotta say.
Yeah, and they're definitely like they've become more selective about what they're releasing and being like, okay, let's guard it a little bit more. But they're also, they also I think are doing more on the animated side too at times, where they're like, okay, let's roll out these Tales series, which are good and but just like can be seen separately if you're more of a Clone Wars fan. And whereas Andor's its own like vein, like it's so weird that was set up as the first like kind of like a Star Wars story, and then we had Solo, and like Solo was trying to be more mainline Star Wars, whereas like Andor's like, no, I happen to be in this world, but I'm a completely different beast, and I am just over here in my lane. And
is it really in its lane? It leads right into Episode 4.
It leads right into Episode 4, but even we don't have any Jedi per se. Spoilers for in Andor, and we technically speaking, I guess we don't even have a Jedi in Rogue One. We have a Sith, so that's my escape away there. So it's like,
yeah,
it's very much more just it is its own beast in the idea that we're not touching on the Force and anything in that realm for the most part. Like, there's
Andor and Rogue One had a thesis statement about the Star Wars universe from the side looking at events that are happening, right? Like things happen concurrently. Rebels is another one that has this same operating theory and does well, being like, these things happen at the same time as these other things, and you're going to see characters, but really this is about something else, right? Very, very good operating theory, in my opinion. This thing that happens on Gorman is like something you never heard about in Star Wars, but actually was kind of important,
Well, actually, you did hear about the Gorman massacre in original like Legends. The spoilers for the Andor, but just kind of contextual lore ideas. The Gorman massacre did exist in Legends, and they recontextualized it in the series as when they mentioned the Tarkin incident. That was what they essentially was the original Gorman massacre in Legends, and now they reformatted this one to be the new inciting event for a larger event. So it's and it to me it comes down to the idea that Tony Gilroy had an idea, and he carried it from A to B to C to D. Like he carried it all the way to the end, as opposed to like, as much as I may enjoy parts of the sequel trilogy, that is a lot of like, I'm going to write the story here. I'm going to write it over here. I'm going to write it over here. Like it's just by committee and too many cooks in the kitchen. Whereas like Tony Gilroy is like, no, this is where I'm starting. This is where I'm ending. This is my story. And there's a concise through line for him that we didn't get in other media.
Yeah. It's funny because it almost feels like they tried that with J.J. Abrams coming in, and it was still too many cooks, I think.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is like it's J.J. Abrams did the first one, then Rian Johnson did the second, and they're like, oh, well, who was the original director for 9 that left, and then they brought back Abrams which is even more. I think the trilogy would have been better if Abrams hadn't come back, because that way at least it would have been another voice as opposed to just like oh, I'm gonna try and just wipe away everything he did because this is the story.
Course correct back to
Right, yeah. Which there was a third director for 9
Colin
before.
Trevorrow.
There you go.
Yeah.
And it's like that could have been finding another. I mean, I don't know. It's a kind of at times similar to the way Solo ended up being. Like you had Miller and Lord. Like this is our plan, and then they're like, you're coloring too far outside the lines. We're gonna bring in this guy to keep it concise. And I think that as much as I still enjoy Solo, I think that it wasn't helped by different cooks trying to make different meals.
I think Solo was actually all right. I liked the look at what made the man kind of thing.
Right, but I think that there were different ingredients bought at the beginning to make the meal at the end, and so you kind of had it didn't hit perfectly that I think that they wanted it to. I still did enjoy it, but I think that there's some lost opportunities in there somewhere.
Fair enough. Well, it sounds like you're not suffering much burnout from all these things.
I mean, no, but I'm also I'm just making time when I can to watch them, and I enjoy enough of the world where I'm like, I want to see how this new take on Daredevil is. Like, oh, okay, so they brought it back. They brought back the original team. They brought back in some of the original voices, and so it's continuity of creation. There's a better term here, but there's a continuity of care there where you're like, okay, this is what they did back then. We want to try and continue on to this new series from the Netflix stuff, and so that was really good. Like when they hit me with like a Moon Knight, I'm like, I don't know enough about Moon Knight. Like I know of Moon Knight, but Moon Knight can just be a good standalone thing in my head, and so I'm not too beholden to like, oh, the legacy of Moon Knight, because I don't have that.
Sure, it can just be sometimes things can just be a fun thing.
Yeah.
Right, like the What If series, right? But I think Michael, you're a pretty big fan of What If.
Yes, I was very much an enjoyer of all 3 seasons of that.
It's interesting that for me, What If season 3 feels really muddled, because it's like you've got episodes that feel like a what if, and then episodes that feel like what the. Which for those who don't know what the is, it was more the parody comic where they're just like, oh well, what if Spider-Ham happened? It's like, okay, that's a kind of a what the, and that Howard the Duck episode just felt like that. Like this wasn't like, well, what if something changed here? It's like, what if Howard the Duck slept with this character and they had what? This is a story we're doing? Like,
that third season definitely did not feel the same as the first 2 in the sense that they were working to use all of the episodes to build to something bigger. Right? They cherry picked little pieces from episodes, but they were much more sort of standalone until those last 2 episodes. And it was like, oh, they picked this piece and that piece, and I really would have liked to have seen Storm get her own episode.
Yes.
That would have been.
Maybe you should watch that X-Men 97, man.
But this was Andy. This was Storm, Goddess of Thunder.
Oh.
Like how does she get the hammer?
Oh, I have yet to see season 3. So
yeah, and that's where we like there's story. I think it was Kohori, the Indigenous American story in season 2, where it's like,
yes,
okay, this is not initially a what if, because it's like this is a completely new idea. So where is this like a what if of? Like, well, what if a hero was born then? I'm like, I mean, I guess, but like you're just trying to tell a different story, which is fine, but it feels out of place to me as someone who looks to what ifs as this story but turned on its side. This story, but what if Wolverine was a vampire because of this storyline? Like, okay, that's cool. Like, what if Thor lost the hammer to Jane Foster? That was a what if, became a real comic, and that type of stuff I enjoyed from what ifs versus original creations that were just kind of thrown in because we want to get to like we want to do individual stories, but then feed into a finale that has a cast we want. And I'm like, it worked, and I enjoyed myself, and I enjoyed Kaori. And then she's also like a character in some of the mobile games too. I like that kind of cross pollination can work, but it's also just like from my nerd brain of like, no, what ifs are these? Why are we going off in this other tangent? But yeah.
I think that thinking about tangents is probably the most appropriate way to talk about the Magic the Gathering fiasco and see what your opinion is on that. I don't know, Michael, we told you a little bit about the Spider-Man situation.
Very little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Magic is probably suffering a lot of these same questions from their fan base about some burnout, right? They've got a set coming every 2 months, I think, for the rest of the year, which is
Interspersed with
kind of
secret layers.
interspersed with horrible secret layers. They just had one for Final Fantasy that are they're not print to demand anymore. They're get in line situation, and they ship them bent to a lot of people that have waited 4 or 5 hours to try and order them.
Ooh.
They're mostly bought by scalpers, and yeah, they don't print enough of them because we got to make scarcity a thing. But beyond that, I think the big story was, the Final Fantasy is happening now, and then there's an outer space themed set coming in 2 months, and then 2 months after that is Spider-Man, and then 2 months after that is Avatar: The Last Airbender. And first, people are burnt out. Second, they're all outside properties, kind of like What If but Magic, right? What if Magic Final Fantasy? What if Magic Spider-Man? What if Magic Avatar? And then yeah, like the target audience for Magic cards that are also Marvel Spider-Man cards is kind of like Ken here.
Yeah.
And our brief discussion of it offline is maybe they totally missed you with this idea.
Yeah, I mean, from what I hear, the way they're doing some of the sets is, one, they aren't doing commander decks, which to my, as an outsider, my knowledge is right now commander is the new hotness in terms of engagement and driving new players. And so I was like, okay, maybe I'll jump in with a commander deck because my friends picked up a Lord of the Rings one, and another friend picked up a Fallout 76 one, or maybe just Fallout, I should say. And I'm like, okay, the commander is the way to venture into this long running series, which has thousands of cards and thousands of formats, but commander is the current engagement tool I should use to get in. And then I'm like, cool. Oh wait, they don't have a commander deck. And I'm like, how is that like? And it's like, again, this is me as an outsider looking in. I'm like, I thought commander was what everyone was just kind of like they have Assassin's Creed commander decks. Like, why can't I just jump in with buy one deck and play from there? But it's, to me, it's the greed and just like, well, if we can get a whole set out of them, why don't we get a whole set out of them? And then also drop exclusive art cards. And
it doesn't even affect that actually, because Final Fantasy has its own set, and then the commander decks are separate. They're their own thing, right? Like they're not even part of the main set. Some cards are in the commander decks that aren't in the set.
And I think that also ties to another thing that I heard of, that these. So there's the physical cards of Magic, but then there's also a Magic Arena that is the digital version. But I guess the Spider-Man set won't be in Arena, so it's gonna get its own separate digital version. And I'm like, wait. So I can't even get it. I can't get the commander deck, but I can still get my cards, and maybe I can do. They have starters, which is going to be different, but not a commander, which I don't know what that all means as an outsider just yet. But I'm still also like, kind of like, it seems like it's not quite as easy. And then you're like, oh, I can't even play with them in Arena. I'm like, I thought Arena would be a way you want me to get in more, but nope. You have to do a separate app, from what I understand, for that.
Well, you could do Magic Online, I guess, because they are basically like scanned versions of the cards or something. I don't know much about Magic Online, but yeah, you won't be able to get them in Arena because they don't have the rights to keep the set in Arena, and the way legality of cards works has changed, and they, I guess, want to keep this set in rotation instead of like Lord of the Rings, where it went straight to out of rotation.
Okay.
The set will be in rotation currently, and so they have to have the cards available. They can't have Marvel just take them offline.
Are commander decks, are the commander deck format, is that part of league play, or not league play, or I guess tournament play? So
Yes and no. Like there are commander tournaments. The main Magic the Gathering tournaments are based off what they call either modern or standard, is kind of my understanding. And those are 60 card formats where you can play with up to 4 cards in each deck. Commander is a community based format that is now being run by Wizards of the Coast, Hasbro. They took it over and are actually building cards directly to be good in Commander, even in sets that are not focused on Commander. And it is, like you said, the most direct and profitable and engaged with format that they have, because it's easy. You get one of each card for 100 of them, and then you have a deck, and that deck will never go out. I mean, 99% chance all those cards do not go out of, you know, banning or anything like that.
Except
right?
for Lord of
Especially,
the Rings, apparently, which
Lord of the Rings you can play in Commander.
in Commander, okay, but it's not in the full tournament play. Which okay, that does at least help clear it up, because it's like when you said that Lord of the Rings came in and then immediately left, I'm like, wait, even for Commander, which is again to my point, is like, isn't that that's the welcome in? Everyone can enjoy Commander. It's easy.
Yeah.
And
well, it's
for
not
them to
it's not
cycle that out.
necessarily easy, but it is easy to explain a lot.
Right.
You know, but yeah, I mean, there's banned cards in Commander, but Commander, very much like there is a standard-ish format with a 60. I should say a 60 card format that is every card also. But Commander allows almost every card except for banned cards, which there are, I don't know, probably like 50 or something. Like, I don't know off the top of my head how many there are.
I mean, and also the parody sets that are like unhinged and unglued, all those goofy ones.
Oh,
that
those
didn't
are
show up
not.
on-
Yeah, those are not
Yeah.
allowed. Yeah, they have different colored borders on them to show you that they're not allowed.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Working in a shop, I knew those existed, but I never like we sold them, but I'd never played. So I'm like, but I was informed like, oh, these are just kind of fun to have. I'm like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
I can enjoy that as a card collector.
I think your point, your strongest point, and the thing that gets me is they did sell a lot of people on getting into Magic because of other universes beyond sets, right? And almost all those, I don't think actually Assassin's Creed had them, but I know Lord of the Rings had pre-made Commander decks. Fallout had pre-made Commander decks. Final Fantasy has pre-made Commander decks. Warhammer 40K had pre-made Commander decks. And the ability to sell somebody on, here's 100 cards, it plays, just go. It's kind of similar to the starters that will exist with Spider-Man. You'll get 2 60 card decks that are made to play against each other. So you could learn the 60 card format. But again, that's different format than everybody else that that got a deck, which is kind of crazy to me.
Yeah, exactly. That's my hang up. I'm like, oh, my friend got the Doctor Who deck. Can I play with him? I mean, you don't have the Commander format, so you can't. Like, okay, but I guess someone was saying that maybe some of the additional cards they do in some of their art sets allow for Commander. I don't, as I don't know I haven't played yet, and because of this, I'm still on the outside. Can you make a Commander deck from a starter deck? Or okay,
yeah, so you could take all the cards from Spider-Man, the set, and be like, here's 100 cards from Spider-Man. I'm making a Commander deck out of Spider-Man, the set. But they're making you do that on your own as a player that's never played Commander before. That's kind of
and there's
crazy.
not cards that are geared towards Commander. They happen to be cards, and
yeah.
Well,
and a lot of them, if you even wanted to make that deck playable, you'd need to take cards from outside the Spider-Man universe that didn't exist, right? Like a lot of the lands won't be in Spider-Man because they're not making Commander decks. So there won't be a bunch of the useful dual lands that people would use and stuff like that. But
and so
kind of
Michael, are you playing Magic
fiasco.
Yeah.
I'm not. I tried the app when it first debuted, when they first put out the Arena app. But that is all that I have dipped my toes into Magic.
Okay, so you've gone just digital, no, like you haven't bought a deck and been like, okay, at least I have cool art. Like that's one thing. Like recently when we got together, Andy had a bunch of just like a binder full of like cool art cards. I'm like, I appreciate cards for that too. Like, oh, this is all original art created just for the game. That's cool. And then I think we talked a bit about how versus it was an older game from Upper Deck, eventually just turned into like, we'll just repurpose art from the comics. And I'm like, that's cheap to me. Like, this is a card game, build new art, pay artists. Like, I'm for that aspect of like, no, pay artists. That's what we should be doing.
Yeah.
And just reformatting comic art, I was like, boo. And
I
so
think that really is
better.
important. I think it's really important for Magic to continue doing it. They might be one of the largest employers of artists on the planet. I mean, they make 300 times 4 or 5 cards a year. Think of the amount of art that they're commissioning. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would definitely be worried. I wonder how many AI submissions they've weeded out, and if has been anything that slipped through. Like, I mean, this is going on a tangent, but that's kind of my base. Todd McFarlane had a contest for Spawn covers, and he's like, "Oh, hey, everyone submit art, and you could be the winner and be on a cover." It's like, shouldn't you just pay artists to do this, not do the cheap thing of like, "Hey, you could win exposure." But that's a discussion for another time. And an AI person did a submission and won, and I'm like, maybe don't
feels
accept
bad.
that. It feels real bad. And then like when you take months to reply publicly about the thing, which from what I heard is they did cut it, but I'm like, you could just been like day one, oh my bad, this doesn't get awarded. Like, but they drug their feet like, oh well, we need to address it. Like, just say no. Like, I don't know. So my question then is, do we worry about AI art showing up in Magic the Gathering because of the scale? It could easily sneak through the cracks, I'd imagine, because it's such small art on a card. But
I wonder about that because I don't think they just hire random people. They usually are hiring an artist, right? For these things.
Yeah. Sorry,
I wonder. No. I'm giving your idea weight in terms of, because my initial reaction is like, most of these people are pretty famous at this point.
Yeah.
And that's what they do for a living. I don't think they would just jump on the AI bandwagon at this point. It would have to be newer people coming in. And I haven't heard of anything for Magic where it's like submit art for cards. It's usually, I mean, they have a whole department of people that are going out, finding new artists. I mean, what they do have now with the art sets, which are kind of like what they call like showcases, or a lot of these secret layer cards that are showcases or secret layer cards that are coming out. They're going out to really, push the envelope of what could be art for a card. That's where you could probably run into some sort of AI thing. I'm hopeful that Magic would avoid any sort of AI art controversy at this point.
That's fair. And I think that because I've seen like dipping my toe into Lorcana, I've got one like, oh, I'm gonna get a playmat that I like, and there's a wide variety of playmats out there that are just AI art, and then like companies that are like, hey, look at our deck boxes, and it's like people calling them out online like, hey, that looks like AI art, and like, oh no, it's all from trusted artists. I'm like, did you see their work in progress? Can you show me your receipts? Like, I want to see this artist. I want to see their process, and like they often don't follow up with comments after the fact. And to the Magic side of it, it's like, yes, most of the artists they work with now, all good and locked in, but considering the volume of new art that they're trying to shop for, do you end up getting a situation like we got with in the video game industry where it's like somebody pulled a bunch of art off of ArtStation and put it into Anthem, and it's like, oh yeah, we kind of that kind of slipped in there. We just happened to steal people's art and put it in our game. Like, how many things get slipped by because just the higher ups just want to get something on the books and done, and somebody's like, well, I got to get this done to keep my job, so here's this. And yes, it's using stolen assets because I'm too rushed for time, and then they pass the buck whenever they can.
The most recent thing I can find from Wizards about generative AI is that they had fans point out that a company they hired for marketing was using generative AI. That was in 2024. They fired them, and they have a clear policy requiring artists and creators contributing to Magic to refrain from using generative AI tools. So they're going to get hit by it.
At least they've got a policy stated.
Yeah. It sounds like they're going to get hit by it, and they're going to get caught getting hit by it, but they're trying to put tools in place to prevent using generative AI at this point.
Yeah. But to the point, at least they've taken a stance and said something as opposed to like. I mean, we are also after the fact, so we don't know how long it took them to acknowledge that, but at least they did.
Yeah,
I'll say that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's not the only card game I wanted to talk to you about. I wanted to get your opinion on something. I think Michael's played it too, and they do not have a Spider-Man set for this game. But you tried a game, Ken, and I'm very proud of you for for putting your fears away. Michael, did you ever play Dominion?
Yes, I have played Dominion with you.
Okay, I know. I thought you had, but it was a game that came out kind of like when we were in college, and so I played a lot of it in college, and shortly after. And Ken recently had a birthday. Congratulations, sir! Happy birthday!
26.
How were those chips, by the way?
I'll say this is definitely more of a tangent again, but they're very good taste wise. The consistency is that of a Pringle, so it's a little bit like if I'm doing my tier chart, I would say that the all dressed Ruffles are above these based on texture, but as far as flavor, the all dressed Pringles are better than the all dressed Lays, and that's my
okay. So your all dressed ranking is all dressed Ruffle, all dressed Pringle, all dressed Lay.
Yes, and flavor on the Pringle and the Ruffles are very close, and so that's why they're so up there. But the texture of the Ruffles is a little bit better for me than the texture of a Pringles. But I mean, we all know Pringles are a little more composite pressed or chip thing, but still tasty and good crunch. But just the mouthfeel after a Pringles different than the mouthfeel after a Ruffle.
Very true.
I have not found all dressed Ruffles recently. I found all dressed Lays for a while.
Yeah. Pringles are superior in my opinion, just because the flavor is better, stronger flavor. They are more dressed in the.
I think
Pringle
Michael, you would have a similar ranking as well.
Yes, I think I would put the Pringles above the Lays. I think in general, I just prefer Pringles to Lays, which has something to do with it. But yeah, I also have not found the Ruffles to be able to put all three into a ranking.
Might have to get these shipped somehow.
It's snack time. Sounds like.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm getting hungry now.
For satay, now all dressed, man.
Well, we had that discovery. It turns out, Michael, we're in a very privileged zone of shopping where we were able to get the all dressed Pringles, and other places were not.
Oh, well, I'll take it then.
Although I did have the beer brats ones apparently ready at hand if I wanted the beer brats Pringles, which I did not.
Travesty. No, that's so gross.
I mean, I like a beer brat, but just like if I don't think it's gonna cross over into a chip format very well, it's just gonna taste like tastes like Miller Lite. Oh, how about no, thank you. No, thank you.
No, I just I'll just take a brat. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm seeing the bag for the Ruffles, and I'm pretty sure I've had them. I think I might have. I don't remember. Yeah. How'd you like Dominion, Ken?
I enjoyed it. It wasn't the game that I thought it was, because I think initially I'm trying to remember if like what get together or party I was at where it was put forth to me. It's like, oh no, it's gonna have a setup time of like Battlestar Galactica the board game, and I'm like, I don't want to dive. Like I love Battlestar Galactica the board game, but it's also like it's a lot of setup, and so I'm like, didn't know. Yeah, I thought it was gonna be that, so that was the barrier for entry. It's definitely was interesting. I think that depending on like what roles you kind of came up with, because I know that there were different, like, oh, this one has a witch, this one has this, and it's like the ones we rolled together made it acceptable, whereas we didn't dive into expansions, which I think would have been chaos incarnate. But
I think expansions really come for people that have played the game enough that they need new cards. You know?
Yeah.
I've played Dominion enough to know when I see a certain thing on a card, I should just go for it. Whether or not I win the game, those are the best cards, kind of thing. And I don't think it gives you an unfair advantage, really. Like, I mean, obviously Patrick won that game handily, not me. So,
yeah, no, he's a gamer though, so he knows like, okay, wait, these are win conditions. This is what I'm buying in for.
Mhm.
I shouldn't be just cursing people and thinking that's
Right.
going to get me the game.
Oh, someone's very specific being referenced here. Uh, this type of thing happens in Commander too, where like the game is kind of not yours to win, so you just start messing with people. Commander very famously is supposed to be a 4-person format, so there's a lot of politicking at a table where you're just like, look, clearly I'm behind, so I'm just gonna start messing around with this person or that person, and
Yeah.
hopefully that helps you win the game or whatever.
I think that
chaos.
Different
Yeah.
at a Dominion table where we're halfway through the game and you can still win.
Yeah, I think that with depending on like because for me it was more that I was the latter. Where I'm like, oh, I'm not going to win, but let's see what I can do to just kind of change up the board or maybe alter something here. Whereas the other person in question was like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to win. It's like, I don't think you're gonna. I don't think
Yeah.
you're.
For every negative one you're
It's not gonna
adding,
work out the way you think it's gonna work out.
Yeah.
yeah, for every negative one you're adding, he's adding 6. So
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. But no, it's definitely
um,
fun. It's also like for me in my headspace, like Dominion now sits like with Catan, where it's like, oh, this is a game that I've known for the better part of a decade, actually probably more than a decade, and it's there, but it's just always been in the background of everyone's shelves. It's like we could play this. It's like, yeah, but there's other newer games. Let's try this. Let's try that. And Dominion was always one for me. It's like because of the setup time, I'm like, that's another time because I remember like this is I remember you guys having Dominion back before we played the Warhammer 40K, not 40K, Warhammer Fantasy RP. Like
oh yeah,
that was in the car at the same time this
oh
stuff
yeah.
was there. So
hmm It's been around a long time.
yeah,
It's older games. I think are going to start making more of a comeback, man. I mean, even Commander takes a while to play when you have the right amount of people. Like one-on-one, it can be short. Like you could do Commander in an hour one-on-one, no problem.
Yeah.
But like newer games take so long. A lot of stuff takes so long. Whereas like a Catan game, I can get that board set up while Michael explains the rules to whoever hasn't played, and we can be done with that game in 45 minutes.
yeah. Well, I think that's the thing is like when you play the classics, there's less people who haven't played it. Like, oh no, I've played it at least once. It'll refresh my brain once we get into it. Oh right, the robber. I got to move them. Whereas like,
Yeah.
oh no, I've got the new pandemic game, but it's a Star Wars Clone Wars skin in this version, so we could play that. It's like, okay,
How do we
yeah,
play
but
it?
we,
Wait. How do we play that? I want to. Can we? Did you
I
make
mean,
up a game, or is that a
no,
game
no,
I can go buy?
it exists. I have a copy. It's based on the pandemic system, but as opposed to like fighting contagions, you're fighting separatists, and
Oh,
like it's yeah. I haven't
so
played it. It's yeah.
this is a game that we can't play in current times. Is what you're
No,
saying?
we can. I have a box. We can play it.
No, I just mean politically speaking.
Oh, yeah. It depends on where you're sitting because it's like either you're like, oh, why did Star Wars get so woke, or you're like, oh no, this is too close to home. I can't deal with this right now. So those are the two factions apparently.
Nobody's happy, so maybe
Nobody's
it's an
happy,
level
so we're
playing
not
field.
playing it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Uh-huh. That was what I was going for. Thank you.
That's fair.
Oh man,
Um,
I'm glad you tried it, and I think more people should get together and play games with each other. If you really want to try Commander, Ken, we'll get you a deck. We'll get you and Michael a deck, or we'll get
well,
Patrick in there.
I'm hoping
And
that there's a commander deck with Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like
they
if
have
you
not said.
right, that's where I'm kind of like I'm almost scared because I'm like, could they just screw the pooch again and just be like, never mind, we're doing the same thing we did with Spider-Man and messing with you because we just want to make bags of money.
I'm gonna say, and this is gonna be a real tantalizing, prospect for you, that the happiest number for them on making Commander decks, because the amount of people that sit at a table for Commander is 4 decks for each release of a set. Tarkir was weird and had 5 because there are 5 color combos for that storyline in Tarkir, but every other set that I can think of recently has had 4 Commander decks. How many elements are there in Avatar?
I was gonna say the base 4 is just that Earth, Wind, Water, Fire. Did I miss
Yeah.
one? Earth, Wind, Water, Fire. Yeah, that's it. This is 4. I mean, there's also like when you start thinking about the spiritual realm and stuff like that, but it's just your basic 4 without
It's your
heart.
basic 4, right? So pretty easy for them to be like, well, this is already a written set. You could just have these as commanders. You know?
Yeah, I mean, if you stick to that, but that's I guess it depends too on like the storytelling of it too, because it's like you have like if the fire ferrets could just be a deck in themselves, and that's Bolin, Mako, and Korra, and like there's that aspect of it, like teams that play together. Because I also don't understand, I don't know
Oh,
Magic
interesting.
very well.
Okay,
It's like,
that's interesting. Yeah, but so there's mana, right? Like green
yeah,
mana and red
Mhm.
mana usually is dealing with fire. So it would be easy to do a Fire Nation style deck.
yeah,
Yep.
but then there's
Uh,
also, I mean, spoilers for Korra. There are characters who are like Bolin and Mako are. I love their creation and the idea of like this is a family that they had Fire Nation people who were living in the Earth Kingdom and didn't leave after the war ended because they had formed a family. So you've got Mako who's a firebender and Bolin who's an earthbender, and like that plays together, especially when you get to the end. And Bolin can maybe lava bend, which is a true combination of fire and earth. And it's like, okay, how does that play out? Can you do a deck with that? And that's where like, okay, and also do they do dual colors in
yes,
Magic?
absolutely.
They do,
Yes.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like that's where my brain
Most
goes to.
commanders, most good commanders are more than one color. Many
Yeah.
many good commanders are 3 colors. So a 2-color deck like a green red deck generally wouldn't play necessarily like you're talking about, but it could be made to play like you're talking about.
And I mean, and this is just me, other outside knowledge. With games like Lorcana, they have more of like, oh, blue tends to be draw, and
Yes. Uh-huh.
this tends to be this. Is that similar? Because in Lorcana, you do have dual color decks. You could only have 2 colors. You can't have more. So do they
Right.
have similar kind of like mechanics where it's like, oh, each one is this? So it's like if you're playing all black, then you're just doing necromancy or whatever black may
Yep.
be. I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're getting it.
Yeah. So I mean, I would definitely be curious as to see how the decks come out. I'm on board for them. If they make a commander deck, they're more likely to get my money than the Spider-Man ones, just based on that alone. Which is a ridiculous thing for me to say, considering
No,
my
it's
love
not.
of Spider-Man versus.
Man, if they missed you, they missed you. Get the one card. I'll even get it in one of my orders from an online store so that you don't have to pay shipping on it. Get your one card, put it in a case, put it on the shelf, and you got your MTG Spider-Man and you're done, you know?
Yeah,
Like you should, like you said earlier, like I have a binder of art of card art and not necessarily just for the art reasons. Sometimes it's cards that I like have super nostalgia for. Like
Yeah.
I have my old Verdaloth the Ancient card, which is not a very good card, but it's one that I remember playing. And that's in that binder to prevent me from keeping an entire set of Invasion, right? Like that's the one card from Invasion. It's in the binder. I remember playing it as a kid, and that's it. And I'm going to have a binder and I'm going to have the decks that I play, and I'm not going to have a billion other cards sitting around this house taking up my whole house. And it's an okay theory to be like, you know what? I'm not going to buy 300 Spider-Man cards. I'm going to get one because they missed me. And if Avatar has a commander deck, I'm in for that. And then that just sits in a box and you don't have to worry about it. That's
Yeah.
really the thing I think why Commander is so popular is it's really easy for people to sit a deck on the side and be like, that's it. I'm good. I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I am with Lorcana. Is like Lorcana is, I mean, it's become so big that you have to play the meta, you have to play that. It's like you can't just pick up the starter deck and be competitive with it. You just
Mhm.
get trounced, and I'm like, I want to have a little bit of fun. Like I don't just want to have to play the meta, which is just from too many years of playing other card games of, okay, if you got to play the meta to have any fun, I'm like, or to win, I should say. But I'm like, can I play a goofy, like this is my.
Good pun.
Yeah, I mean, well, you can play Goofy. There's a couple different cards of Goofy. But
Do they have
can I play?
Do they have Kingdom Hearts yet? That's what I
Not
need to
yet,
know.
not yet. But that's probably because they couldn't get the licensing from Square Enix, I would imagine.
I mean, Magic just bought the license from Square Enix for Final Fantasy. I'm sure Disney can afford it.
Well, I mean, I think maybe they just don't want to bother because they are. That is one thing for Lorcana. They are instilling its own lore, so they're creating new characters in Lorcana associated with Disney characters. So maybe they're already kind of walking that line so that they have that. Maybe that's the case. I if they did a Kingdom Hearts deck, they would sell like gangbusters.
Of course they would. But Lorcana is really a very, very young game. Am I wrong?
Here's the crazy thing. They're already starting to talk about implementing rotation. And I'm like, we just hit 8 sets, I think. And they're already like, okay, we're going to start rotating out first chapter. It's like, you're in, I mean, they have, challenges and tournaments with, fairly large purses and cards that are limited, but I'm surprised they're already talking about rotation after this many years in.
So Magic's main format standard, which is not the most popular format, but its main format standard is on 2-year rotation.
Oh wow. That is
and then you have other formats that are longer. So Disney could do that. They could just have a longer, like, okay, well, 2 years for this, and then all the way back to 20. When did it come out? 2020. How young is the game?
I'm looking that up right now because I don't know. I want to say it was just right around lockdown or
so like 2020.
I thought, but now I'm rethinking my brain.
Well, anyway, they could always implement multiple like
no 2023
formats.
So it's less than 2 years.
Well, they could always implement multiple combats. I don't know how do they have this game looks very similar to Magic.
Oh yeah, it's very similar in some styles, but I hear because there's no instances in chains where you have to like interrupt other people. There's that difference, but it is very much similar. Yeah, it's very similar from what I hear. You tap or activate or similar kind of like, oh, I turn it sideways, so this means this.
Sure. Well, not having interrupts is a big boon in my opinion, because the stack chains in Marvel or in Magic can get pretty crazy.
Yeah, they were pretty crazy in Upper Deck Versus when you had, oh well, I use my Spiderman to do this. So like, oh, well, I use Batman's Fizzle plot twist to stop you from doing that, and like. Well, I still have a lot of those cards, and I enjoy those for their art and like the history there. Like you said, like you have just like, oh, this is just a memory book now. Like I just like, oh yeah, I played that card a bunch and did this, and you can let go of all the other stuff.
And it's also a nice way to stay engaged with the game as things come out. Is like, oh well, I got a Doctor Who Commander deck, and I also kind of like a few of these showcase cards for Doctor Who, so I'll grab a few of those and put them in the binder. Okay, I'm done with the Doctor Who set. There's 600 cards I didn't buy, and I got one. I got out of that one, and I'm still engaged with it. That's kind of fun. So it's a controlled way to get back into a hobby.
Yeah, I mean,
at least it feels that way.
Michael's doing it the safe where he's just doing digital, and like it's definitely like, okay, there's less things to actually hold on to, which is probably better, but like
certainly cheaper.
I mean, yeah. Marvel Snap has also had me for a while too, so I'm not. I played him digital too.
There you go. Next time you're on, we'll be talking about. I don't know. We'll figure
Dispatch,
it out.
The new essentially game from who was Telltale Games.
Probably.
Have you guys talked about that at all?
No.
Fill us in.
So
give us a quick.
Give us a teaser for next time.
You play as a essentially depowered hero, working as a dispatch officer for kind of damage control and sending heroes off to like, oh, go. We've got a cat stuck in a tree. Send over your flyer there, or you've got a fire over here. Send over your water guy. But
have you played this yet?
Yes, the demo's available on Steam. It's available right now.
Okay, I'm clicking it up. Oh gosh, the noise.
Oh, sorry.
There's the autoplay on the.
Oh, gotcha.
The video.
But it's also interspersed with the Telltale Games aspect of like, oh, like response and like, oh, what are you going to say? This person will remember that, and that storytelling aspect paired with some resource management or character management, I guess a better way to put it, of sending out the right hero for the right job.
How long is the demo? Do you know?
It's like 25 minutes, 30 minutes, and maybe an hour, depending on how long you pull out some of the
threads.
The dispatch session. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So.
I have bookmarked this. We're going to call that a teaser for next week, and we're all going to talk about dispatch.
Sounds good.
Because it'll fit with me discussing more tactical breach wizards next week.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We talked tactical games, and I'm also going to bring up Ninja Turtles tactical game that's out there too.
Okay.
Also
this is it. See, we're planning the episode live.
There you go. We'll do it live.
Be proactive.
I'm writing it all down. You're on the hook for it next week.
I'm on board.
Uh,
All right. Until next time, Michael, where do people go?
People can get at us at podcast@weweregamers.com. We'd love to hear from you. You can also check us out on Facebook and on Blue Sky at We Were Gamers. And you should go check out our YouTube channel. If you want to see some of that cool magic art that we were talking about, you should watch some of the videos that Andy and JJ put out drafting some cool magic decks.
Well, that was Tarkir. We will probably put out something with Magic Final Fantasy, and also Ken.
They can find me the mostly active on Instagram at Hapa Kenergy. That's HAPAKENERGY. And you will find me on the Tangential Giants podcast. There's links there also to my carbon scoring appearances. And you, depending on when you hear this, you will potentially find me at my panel with Tangential Giants at Comic-Con, which the date and time are yet to be released.
TBD. We'll see if we have it next
tuned.
No, we it's just we are in the stage of it's a confirmed panel, but we don't have clearance on date and time. So
yeah, TBD date and time, not TBD panel, to be clear.
Yeah,
sorry.
It's there, but where and when? Who knows?
I'm selfishly hoping for certain dates, but I'm not going to say them on here just in case.
Don't put it out there.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll find out soon. Okay.
Okay.
It's turtle time.
What's next?